I'm Beth, and today we're going to be reading 2nd Ezra chapters 8 and 9. He answered me and said, "The Most High made this world for the sake of many, but the world to come for the sake of only a few. But I tell you a parable, Ezra. Just as when you ask the earth, it will tell you that it provides a large amount of clay from which earthenware is made, but only a little dust from which gold comes. So is the course of the present world. Many have been created, but only a few shall be saved." I answered and said, "Then drink your fill of understanding, O my soul, and drink wisdom, O my heart. For not of your own will did you come into the world, and against your will you depart. For you have been given only a short time to live. O Lord above us, grant your servant that we may pray before you, and give us a seed for our heart and cultivation for our understanding, so that fruit may be produced, by which every mortal who bears the likeness of a human being may be able to live. For you alone exist, and we are a work of your hands, as you have declared. And because you give life to the body that is now fashioned in the womb, and furnish it with members, what you have created is preserved amid fire and water. And for 9 months the womb endures your creature that has been created in it. But that which keeps and that which is kept shall both be kept by your keeping. And when the womb gives up again what has been created in it, you have commanded that from the members themselves, that is from the breasts, milk, the fruit of the breast, should be supplied, so that what has been fashioned may be nourished for a time. And afterwards you will still guide it in your mercy. You have nurtured it in your righteousness, and instructed it in your law, and reproved it in your wisdom. You put it to death as your creation, and make it live as your work. If then you will suddenly and quickly destroy what with so great labor was fashioned by your command, to what purpose was it made? And now I will speak out. About all humankind you know best. But I will speak about your people, for whom I am grieved, and about your inheritance, for whom I lament, and about Israel, for whom I am sad, and about the seed of Jacob, for whom I am troubled. Therefore I will pray before you for myself and for them, for I see the failings of us who inhabit the earth. And now also I have heard of the swiftness of judgment that is to come. Therefore hear my voice and understand my words, and I will speak before you." The beginning of the words of Ezra's prayer before he was taken up, he said, "O Lord, you who inhabit eternity, whose eyes are exalted, and whose upper chambers are in the air, whose throne is beyond measure, and whose glory is beyond comprehension, before whom the hosts of angels stand trembling, and at whose command they are changed to wind and fire, whose word is sure, and whose utterances are certain, whose command is strong, and whose ordinance is terrible, whose look dries up the depths, and whose indignation makes the mountains melt away, and whose truth is established forever. Hear, O Lord, the prayer of your servant, and give ear to the petition of your servant. Attend to my words. For as long as I live, I will speak, and as long as I have understanding, I will answer. O do not look on the sins of your people, but on those who serve you in truth. Do not take note of the endeavors of those who act wickedly, but of the endeavors of those who have kept your covenants amid afflictions. Do not think of those who live wickedly in your sight, but remember those who have willingly acknowledged that you are to be feared. Do not will the destruction of those who have the ways of cattle, but regard those who have gloriously taught your law. Do not be angry with those who are deemed worse than wild animals, but love those who have always put their trust in your glory. For we and our ancestors have passed our lives in ways that bring death. But it is because of us sinners that you are called merciful. For if you have desired to have pity on us, who have no works of righteousness, then you will be called merciful. For the righteous, who have many works laid up with you, shall receive their reward in consequence of their own deeds. But what are mortals, that you are angry with them? Or what is a corruptible race, that you are so bitter against it? For in truth there is no one among those who have been born who has not acted wickedly. Among those who have existed, there is no one who has not done wrong. For in this, O Lord, your righteousness and goodness will be declared when you are merciful to those who have no store of good works. He answered me and said, Some things you have spoken rightly, and it will turn out according to your words. For indeed, I will not concern myself about the fashioning of those who have sinned, or about their death, their judgment, or their destruction, but I will rejoice over the creation of the righteous, over their pilgrimage also, and their salvation, and their receiving their reward. As I have spoken, therefore so it shall be. For just as the farmer sows many seeds in the ground, and plants a multitude of seedlings, and yet not all that have been made sown will come up in due season, and not all that were planted will take root, so also those who have been sown in the world will not all be saved. I answered and said, If I have found favor in your sight, let me speak. If the farmer's seed does not come up because it has not received your rain in due season, or if it has been ruined by too much rain, it perishes. But people who have been formed by your hands and are called your own image because they are made like you, and for whose sake you have formed all things, have you also made them like the farmer's seed? Surely not, O Lord, above. But spare your people and have mercy on your inheritance, for you have mercy on your own creation. He answered me and said, Things that are present for those who live now, and things that are future for those who will live hereafter. For you come far short of being able to love my creation more than I love it. But you have often compared yourself to the unrighteous. Never do so. But even in this respect, you will be praiseworthy before the Most High, because you have humbled yourself, as is becoming for you, and have not considered yourself to be among the righteous. You will receive the greatest glory. For many miseries will affect those who inhabit the world in the last times, because they have walked in great pride. But think of your own case, and inquire concerning the glory of those who are like yourself. Because it is for you that paradise is opened, the tree of life is planted, the age to come is prepared, plenty is provided, a city is built, rest is appointed, goodness is established, and wisdom perfected beforehand. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Illness is banished from you, and death is hidden. Hades has fled, and corruption has been forgotten. Sorrows have passed away, and in the end the treasure of immortality is made manifest. Therefore, do not ask more questions about the great number of those who perish, for they had opportunity to choose. They despised the Most High, and were contemptuous of his law, and abandoned his ways. Moreover, they have even trampled on his righteous ones, and said in their hearts that there is no God, though they knew well that they must die. For just as the things that I have predicted await you, so the thirst and torment that are prepared await them. For the Most High did not intend that anyone should be destroyed, but those who were created have themselves defiled the name of him who made them, and have been ungrateful to him who prepared life for them now. Therefore my judgment is now drawing near. I have not shown this to all people, but only to you and to few like you. Then I answered and said, O Lord, you have already shown me a great number of the signs that you will do in the last times, but you have not shown me when you will do them. He answered me and said, Measure carefully in your mind, and when you see some of the predicted signs have occurred, then you will know that it is the very time when the Most High is about to visit the world that he has made. So when there shall appear in the world earthquakes, tumult of peoples, intrigues of nations, wavering of leaders, confusion of princes, then you will know that it was of these things that the Most High spoke from the days that were of old, from the beginning. For just as with everything that has occurred in the world, the beginning is evident, and the end manifest, so also are the times of the Most High. The beginnings are manifest in wonders and mighty works, and the end in penalties and in signs. It shall be that all who will be saved and will be able to escape on account of their works, or on account of the faith by which they have believed, will survive the dangers that have been predicted, and will see my salvation in my land and within my borders, which I have sanctified for myself from the beginning. Then those who have now abused my ways shall be amazed, and those who have rejected them with contempt shall live in torments. For as many as did not acknowledge me in their lifetime, though they received my benefits, as many as scorned my law while they still had freedom, and did not understand, but despised it, while an opportunity of repentance was still open to them, these must in torment acknowledge it after death. Therefore do not continue to be curious about how the ungodly will be punished, but inquire of how the righteous will be saved, to those whom the age belongs, and for whose sake the age was made. I answered and said, I said before, and I say now, and will say it again, there are more who perish than those who will be saved, as a wave is greater than a drop of water. He answered me and said, As is the field, so is the seed, and as are the flowers, so are the colors, and as is the work, so is the product, and as is the farmer, so is the threshing floor. For there was a time in this age when I was preparing for those who now exist, before the world was made for them to live in, and no one opposed me then, and no one existed. But now those who have been created in this world, which is supplied both with an unfailing table and an inexhaustible pasture, have become corrupt in their ways. So I considered my world and saw that it was lost. I saw that my earth was in peril because of the devices of those who had come into it. And I saw and spared some with great difficulty, and saved for myself one grape out of a cluster, and one plant out of a great forest. So let the multitude perish that has been born in vain, but let my grape and my plant be saved, because with much labor I have perfected them. Now if you will let 7 days more pass, do not, however, fast during them, but go into a field of flowers where no house has been built, and eat only of the flowers of the field, and taste no meat and drink no wine, but eat only flowers, and pray to the Most High continually. Then I will come and talk with you. So I went as he directed me into the field that is called Ardot, and I sat there among the flowers and ate of the plants of the field, and the nourishment they afforded satisfied me. And after 7 days while I lay on the grass, my heart was troubled again as it was before. Then my mouth was opened, and I began to speak before the Most High, and said, O Lord, you showed yourself among us, to our ancestors in the wilderness, when they came out from Egypt, and when they came into the untrodden and unfruitful wilderness. And you said, Hear me, O Israel, and give heed to my words, O descendants of Jacob. For I sow my law in you, and it shall bring forth fruit in you, and you shall be glorified through it forever. But though our ancestors received the law, they did not keep it, and did not observe the statutes. Yet the fruit of the law did not perish, for it could not, because it was yours. Yet those who received it perished, because they did not keep what had been sown in them. Now this is the general rule, that when the ground has received seed, or the sea a ship, or any dish, food, or drink, and when it comes about that what was sown, or what was launched, or what was put in is destroyed, they are destroyed. But the things that held them remain. Yet with us it has not been so. For we who have received the law and sinned will perish, as well as our hearts that received it. The law, however, does not perish, but survives in its glory. When I said these things in my heart, I looked around, and on my right I saw a woman. She was mourning and weeping with a loud voice, and was deeply grieved at heart. Her clothes were torn, and there were ashes on her head. Then I dismissed the thoughts with which I had engaged, and turned to her and said to her, "Why are you weeping? And why are you grieved at heart?" She said to me, "Let me alone, my lord, so that I may weep for myself and continue to mourn, for I am greatly embittered in spirit and deeply distressed." I said to her, "What has happened to you? Tell me." And she said to me, "Your servant was barren and had no child, though I lived with my husband for 30 years. Every hour and every day during those 30 years, I prayed to the Most High night and day. And after 30 years, God heard your servant and looked upon my low estate, and considered my distress, and gave me a son. I rejoiced greatly over him, and my husband and all my neighbors, and we gave great glory to the Mighty One. And I brought him up with much care. So when he grew up, and I came to take a wife for him, I set a date for the marriage feast." Revelation 11. I was given a reed like a measuring rod. The angel stood saying, "Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and those who worship in it. But exclude the court which is outside the temple, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the nations. They will trample on the holy city for 42 months. And I will give power to my 2 witnesses. They will prophesy for 1,160 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. If anyone desires to harm them, fire proceeds out of their mouth and devours their enemies. If anyone desires to harm them, he must be killed in this way. They have power to shut heaven, that it may not rain during the days of their prophecy. They have power over waters to turn them into blood, and to strike the earth with every plague as often as they desire. When they have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends from the bottomless pit will wage war against them and overcome them and kill them. Their dead bodies will lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Those from every people and tribe and tongue and nation will see their dead bodies for 3.5 days, and will not allow their dead bodies to be put in graves. Those who dwell on the earth will rejoice over them and make merry and send gifts to one another, because those 2 prophets tormented those who dwell on the earth. After 3.5 days, the breath of life from God entered them, and they stood on their feet, and great fear fell on those who saw them. Then they heard a loud voice from heaven saying to them, "Come up here." And they ascended to heaven in a cloud, while their enemies watched them. At the same hour there was a great earthquake, and 1/10 of the city fell. 7,000 men were killed in the earthquake, and the remnant were frightened and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe is past. Listen, the third woe is coming quickly. The 7th angel sounded, And there were loud voices in heaven saying, "The kingdoms of the world have become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever." And the 24 elders who sat before God on their thrones fell on their faces and worshipped God, saying, "We give you thanks, O Lord God Almighty, who is and was and who is to come, because you have taken your great power and begun to reign. The nations were angry, and your wrath has come. And the time has come for the dead to be judged, and to reward your servants the prophets, and the holy people who fear and those who fear your name, small and great, to destroy those who destroy the earth." Then the temple of God was opened in heaven, and the ark of his covenant was seen in his temple. And there came lightning, noises, thundering, and earthquake, and great hail. Psalm 10. Why do you stand far off, O Lord? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? In arrogance, the wicked persecutes the poor. Let them be caught in the devices they have planned. For the wicked boasts of his soul's desire. He blesses the greedy and despises the Lord. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek God. God is not at all in his thoughts. His ways are always prosperous. Your judgments are high and distant from him. As for all his enemies, he scoffs at them. He says in his heart, "I shall not be moved. For generations I shall not meet adversity." His mouth is filled with cursing and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue is mischief and iniquity. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places he murders the innocent. His eyes lurk against the unfortunate. He lies in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lies in wait to catch the poor. He catches the poor, drawing them into his net. He crouches. He lies low so that the unfortunate fall by his strength. He says in his heart, "God has forgotten." He hides his face. He will never see it. Arise, O Lord. O God, lift up your hand. Do not forget the humble. Why do the wicked despise God? They say in their heart, "You will not require an account." You have seen it, for you observe trouble and grief, to repay it with your hand. The unfortunate one entrusts it to you. You are the helper of the orphan. Break the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness until you find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations perished from his land. The desire of the humble you have heard, O Lord. You make their heart attentive. You bend your ear to judge the orphan, and the oppressed man on earth no longer trembles. Proverbs 10. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes glad a father, but a foolish son is the grief of his mother. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death. The Lord will not allow the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casts away the desire of the wicked. He becomes poor who deals with the slack hand, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a wise son, but he who sleeps in harvest is a son who causes shame. Blessing are on the head of the just, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise in heart will heed commandments, but a prating fool will fall. He who walks uprightly walks surely, but he who perverts his ways will be known. He who winks with the eye causes sorrow, but a prating fool will fall. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. In the lips of him who has understanding, wisdom is found. but a rod is for the back of him who is void of understanding. Wise men store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous tends to life, the fruit of the wicked to sin. He who keeps instruction is in the way of life, but he who reproves it, reproof errs. He who hides hatred has lying lips, and he who spreads slander is a fool. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The tongue of the just is choice as silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. To do mischief is like sport to a fool, but a man of understanding has wisdom. The fear of the wicked will come upon him, but the desire of the righteous will be granted. As the whirlwind passes, so is the wicked no more, but the righteous has an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth and as smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to those who send him. The fear of the Lord prolongs days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. The hope of the righteous will be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked will perish. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the just brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaks what is perverse. Thus ends the reading for today. Never walk alone.